What is going on, YouTubeverse? John Stanek from Johnny Radio here, bringing you another Viva La Vinyl classic album review. And guys, it doesn't get much more classic than this. The 1969 debut album, First Take by Roberta Flack. Just one of the greatest albums of all time, I'm going to go ahead and say. And sadly, I hadn't heard this until just a few months ago. And just in the handful of listens of this thing, I'm just blown away every single time. I had known of Roberta Flack, of course, from Killing Me Softly, some other tracks, but this album, just from start to finish, is masterful. And it's called First Take based on the fact that many of the songs on this album are first takes of her playing these songs live in the studio with other session musicians, which is a who's who lineup. Not least of all, Ron Carter on bass. You know, if you don't know who Ron Carter is, check out A Tribe Called Quest and so many other groups that he's played with. But you hear that stand-up bass come in just on the first track, Compared to What, which is just really cool and jazzy. Another song that toward the end of the album called Tryin' Times is similar in that regard, and they're both very lyrically like socio-political and just kind of speaking on the times, which 1969 when this came out, they were in fact trying times, but it felt, especially listening to it this morning, even more resonant with today's times, which are just as crazy and chaotic, maybe even more so, and just really felt very poignant. But those two songs are amazing. Most of the other tracks on here are slower, more ballads. And if you don't know, also Roberta Flack didn't write any of these songs. These are all covers, but man, if you're gonna do an album of covers, this is the way to do it. Like, take some songs that maybe no one's ever heard before, that speak to you personally, and make them your own and send them out into the universe. And that's what she did really on all these songs. Like, oh my God, the second track on here, Angelitos, Negroes, is an amazing song that was written like over 20 years before. It was also part of a film of the same name from the 1940s. And of course, you know, this is a Latin film, and she sings the song in Spanish, true to the song. And when you look up what the lyrics are about, it's just heartbreaking. When the singer is singing to a painter who's saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but why do you paint only white angels? Don't you know that there's also black angels in heaven? And it's just like, oh my God, it gets you right here. And just, you know, her taking that song and making it her own, I feel like it's honoring it on so many different levels, you know, also speaking to the African-American experience, but also with her singing it in Spanish, also singing on behalf of all brown people, and just, you know, still also resonant to this day, sadly, but just a profound, amazing song that, like, when it gets to the end, when she does the la la la's, it'll bring you to tears, because her performance on this thing is so soulful. Like, she's putting all of her heart and soul into this song, and into all these songs, really. There's not a weak track on this album. Every song on here, all 8 tracks, you know, it's a compact 45-minute album. Every track has something beautiful and different to offer. Our Ages, Our Hearts is an amazing track. Of course, her cover of Hey, That's No Way to Say Goodbye by Leonard Cohen. That's not saying much, but of course, you know, Cohen doesn't have the best voice in the business, but I do feel like this is a better version of that track as well, even though, you know, he was very well known at the time. But my favorite track on here, The First Time Ever I Saw Your Face. This is gotta be one of the most amazingly beautiful songs ever just recorded. This track, and talk about slow. I mean, the tempo is really at a crawl here, but it allows just the space of her emotional delivery to really resonate. And the chord changes, of course, that goes to the songwriters as well. But oh my God, this song is just so powerful. in its simplicity. And of course, it went on to be famous. It was in a Clint Eastwood movie shortly after this came out. And that's what really shot her to superstardom with that song. And hey, I can totally see why, because man, that's up there with songs like, Imagine as being one of the greatest ballads ever. I mean, just incredible. And I could talk about every one of these songs, honestly, and I pretty much will. But another amazing, powerful ballad on here, I Told Jesus. This song, man, the first time I heard it, just gave me chills. I mean, the way that, and there's not much going on lyrically. It's based on like an old traditional, I guess, like a hymn. And what it's saying in the song is, I told Jesus I wanted him to change my name. And, you can go back to biblical stories like the whole Simon Peter thing and kind of get that deep meaning out of it. But I feel like this kind of has even more of a deep, profound meaning. It can work on several different levels. Like, does she want Jesus to change her name just for spiritual reasons? Or, as she alludes to in the song, she's saying, I told my brother, my father, my mother, that it's all right. Is she trying to escape some kind of family thing? And the brilliance of this song is that it leaves you with just enough information to make you think like, there could be a lot of other things going on here. It allows you to use your imagination, and just amazing. And when she gets to the end where she goes up an octave and is, yelling like, change my name. Oh man, it's just it's like one of the heaviest things you'll ever hear. And it's just Roberta Flack and some guys in a studio. And it's like, my God, where has this been all my life? And the last song, the final track on here didn't hit me the way it did today, the first time I listened to this album, but it's called Ballad of the Sad Young Men. And man, it's an extremely sad song. And it's basically, refers to these men that are in the bars and they're basically seeing their youth going away, using some very heavy, not even metaphors, but just saying like, the death of their youth basically, and coming to terms with that. And, essentially like, guys going through a midlife crisis. And it's like, the older I get, the more this kind of thing just hits me in a certain way. And it's just, man, when this song washed over me today, it was quite honestly a spiritual experience for me. And, on first listen, I gave this thing, and it's really hard to grade albums, I just want to say, but I gave this a 9 out of 10 because I was just like, this is such an amazing album. But the more times I listen to this thing, the more I realize this is a perfect record. And I'm going to be doing something for the first time here on Johnny Radio, aside from my wall of perfect albums that there's 15 albums here that are perfect 10 out of 10 albums that I've already knew. This is a 10 out of 10 album. A+, belongs on this wall of perfect albums. So I'm going to have to like redo my wall or, just make it bigger at some point. But Roberta Flack, you have earned your space on the wall of perfect albums with First Take. Just incredible. And, she went on to do great things from here, but I don't think the lightning in the bottle of this debut album she ever quite got again. And a lot of it has to do with, some of these songs just being probably, you can tell these session musicians probably are playing for the first time. If you're a musician, you can kind of feel that. It feels just very, I don't know, like magic is being created on the spot. And it feels like that on every song. And it's just something that could never be recreated again. And for that reason, and many more, it's a 10 out of 10. If I had to pick my two favorite songs, man, that's hard to narrow down. But I would say the first time ever I saw your face, and Angelitos, Negroes. I mean, just both incredible. But like I said, everything's incredible on here. And guys, yeah, that is all I have to say about it. So if you haven't heard this album yet, what are you waiting for? Please do immediately. If you have, let me know what you think. And guys, we got so many more reviews on this channel, top fives every Friday, so much more. Thank you for watching. And as always, Viva La Vinyl. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell for notifications so you can always see great quality content like you're seeing on the screen right now. Thank you so much for supporting Johnny Radio, and I'll see you soon.